creating a brand new trip. So anywhere from Planet Easy, you'll always find this create button on the top left corner of your screen. We can create a new trip by adding a trip. We always want to give it a title, so maybe Smith Trip Paris 2026. And then I like to give it a destination name so that it pulls in nice Google images for your main trip picture. If you know the dates, go ahead and add them in. So we'll just say August 14th through 23rd, and I save it. This is now going to take you to the main trip itinerary page. On this page, you'll be able to add all of your reservations. So for example, if you wanted to add a flight on day 1, you could either drag over a flight reservation here. You can add in your flight numbers, whatever your code is, and then your return trip, you would want to change the date for the return, put in whatever flight code that might be, and that's it. You can add a price and click save. We do have other videos on how to add reservations, so you can check those out, whether you're adding a hotel, flight, cruise. So once you've added in your reservations here, you can also add them in, by the way, by clicking the plus sign. So I can go in, I can click plus, and if I wanted to add a cruise, I would come in, select Ocean Cruise, select my cruise line, maybe it's MSC, and I can search by ship or just search in general. This will provide me with the sailing dates on August 15th. So I can select whichever sailing, and again, this brings in all of the day-by-day ports, sailings, all of the images, which is great. So if I want to, I can go ahead and add in the price here or the cabins where they'll be staying. I can click save. Great, so again, I can drag and drop by adding in a reservation this way, or I can click the plus sign and add in reservations this way. Now, across the top here, you'll see a trip information tab. So if you need to change anything, like maybe the client advisor, you can find that under this tab. If you have some other details of the trip, you can add those as well, but I would say most of the time these stay pretty blank, unless you're working with big groups. Okay, the itinerary tab, again, is where you'll be adding in all of your reservations. The travelers tab is where you'll be adding all of your travelers. So here you can search for your travelers. You can just say, Amy Smith. If she doesn't exist, then you would add new. And so this will bring me to my profile page to add in a new person. You can also import travelers if you have a large group. Great. Now, the accounting tab is where you'll be creating invoices and checking anything accounting for this trip. Received forms from this trip will show up here. Now, in order to receive forms from here, you would have to send them from this trip. So for example, if I go to my travelers tab, I can send forms from this tab. They'll be associated to this trip, and once the client completes them, they'll come into my received forms for this trip. Here I have a documents tab. So if I have any documents specific to this trip, I can upload it for my client to see on the itinerary. And if it's something really just back office that I don't need my client to see, yet I still want to keep track of it, I can add it for my internal use here. So for internal use does not show to your client. Visible to client does show to your client. So if you have any commission related things for this trip, you can always add them for internal use. That way you kind of have them all in one place. Next, the automated messages section is really going to be a place where you can attach those automated messages like your welcome home, bon voyage, that kind of thing. And there's a whole other video on automated messages that you can watch. So back to our itinerary tab. I would continue to add in all of my different reservations here. If I wanted to add day titles, for example, depart, if they're leaving from Florida, you could say depart Florida. And then, day 2 could be arrive in Paris, something like this, yeah? Tour the Eiffel Tower. Now, these are great day titles because these will eventually show up on your itinerary. You do not have to complete these, but if you like to have this kind of like summary view, then you would add those in. You can also add in day notes. So this is really a generic day overview of what they'll be doing on day 3. You can also add generic day images. Now, on the left-hand side, this is where you'll be able to see what you've created thus far. So this is called the itinerary pop-up. When we open it up, this will show you what the client will experience. And we don't have much in here yet. However, if I open this content section, this is really going to show us the different itinerary layouts that we might have, whether you want the classic view or the modern view. And then here are all of those green toggles where you can turn things on and off. So for example, here are those day titles that I added earlier. Let's say I don't really want an overview section and I really just want to jump right into maybe the summary or perhaps even just the daily itinerary here. Well, I can do that by toggling my overview button off, my summary button off, and just jump right into that daily itinerary. Notice that those are gone now. So this is kind of the page with the green buttons. This is going to allow you to manage everything that you want your client to see or not see. For example, if you wanted to hide prices on certain things, then you would just toggle all of those off and save it. Now, once you've played around with this itinerary and you feel like, okay, this is the way that you really want to share your itinerary every time, you can actually go over here and set it as a layout. So you can select the layout. You can create a new template, call it whatever you want. So I can say, Sophia's template. And I can have one for proposals, and I can also maybe make one for itineraries once they're booked. So maybe this is my proposal template. And here, again, you'll find the same green buttons, so you can turn those on and off. And so once you create that template and you modify what you want them to see, then you can update this. And now, moving forward, anytime you add a trip, you don't have to spend so much time toggling those green buttons on and off. You would simply come into your content page and select the template that you have created here. Great. Now, if you don't like the background image that has loaded into this trip, you can always come in here and change the cover. This will, because I've put in Paris as the destination, it automatically pulls in Paris pictures for me, but maybe I have a specific picture that I want shown. Maybe it's, really just Eiffel Tower pictures. So I can search Eiffel Tower. And now, maybe I want this to be my main trip picture. So I would add that in. And this will show up either on the background or on the top of your itinerary design, whatever you choose. So if I pick the classic design, then it would look something like this. I always love to copy the page link in the top right-hand corner and paste it in a new tab. The reason I do this is because my clients are going to be receiving this live link. So I always like to see it as I'm working on it, right? So I want to make sure that all of this looks correct. And here I can go back and show you what a completed proposal looks like. So just to give you an idea of all the fields that we would complete. So for example, for this Paris trip, we'll go to this one. Notice here in my itinerary, I have day 1, travel day. I can add a day note or not. This doesn't have one. So I travel to Paris. Then day 2, arrival in iconic Paris. I've added some day notes here, just some highlights for them to look into. And then I've also added my reservations. So my car service, my hotel check-in. Day 3, historic art and museum. And then, day notes as well. If I want to, I can also add day images, but I think the Eiffel Tower reservation will probably have enough images for me. So I would go on like this. And now I've already come in here, I've gone to my content page, I've selected all of the buttons on and off that I want, and I'd like to show you what it looks like completed. So notice the overview section is completed with all of my meals, accommodation. The summary is there, and then it goes into my daily itinerary view. So I can find, all of my reservations filled in here. This looks like a really nice full proposal that I could send to a client or even an itinerary. And then if I want to share it, we do have videos on that, but you can click share and select the sharing method that you want. And then if we go ahead and open the live version of this other Paris trip, you'll see exactly what that looks like with a little summary in the beginning, an overview. Again, if I wanted to turn any of these sections off, I could. And then it goes into daily itinerary, and it just has a really nice look and feel. On the left-hand side, they can scroll to different reservations that they might have, restaurant list, or even documents that I've imported to their trip, or important notices. It doesn't look like there are any on this trip, but you could turn those sections off if you don't have any documents or important notices, but generally you would have those, so you would just upload those. Okay,